Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Diplomatic Channel. Everyone thought Donald Trump would not make an inch in the U.S. presidential race, and Ambassador Joe Keshi was one of them. I have to tell you, after seeing his performance at the polls and Americans' sudden thirst for something new, at this point it is quite hard to tell who could become the next president of the United States. I had a chat about that with Ambassador Joe Keshi. You've been, one of the great analysts we've had on the program who's been talking about the U.S. presidential elections. Let's talk a bit about what happened in Iowa on Monday. We've seen, people like Donald Trump rise from being a businessman to a politician. People like Hillary Clinton, who's been in government forever, and the others coming up on the scenes. Are you surprised, at the mix of candidates that are running this race?
Not really. America has always had, something like this in years gone by, but the difference this year it's Donald Trump. And let me be honest with you. Remember when we had this conversation the first time, I did say I do not see Trump becoming president. Let me be humble enough to say I'm beginning to change my mind. Because the guy has shown how smart he is in everything he's done so far. The last was a stunt that he took in not going to the debate. And quite frankly, it paid out. It paid out for him. And when he began to talk about deporting Muslims, everybody thought that was the end of Donald Trump. The guy went high up in the polls. So he has defined virtually all the rules and all the pundits. So I think we just need to begin to give the man his due respect and begin to say to ourselves, we might wake up on November 4th and Donald Trump is the president of the United States. There's many who still say no, it won't happen. I'm not too sure which camp I am now, but on the Democratic side, I think the consensus is that at the end of the day, Hillary might be able to pull through. But bear in mind that what is driving the campaigns today, both campaigns, is that there are too many angry Americans who feel that in the midst of plenty, their lives are still as bad as it is, most likely in the third world countries. And this is what is pushing the Sandra campaign, because it's actually asking for the basic things for the ordinary people. And this is why he's hammering on Wall Street all the time. This is why he's trying to say that, look, yes, Obama has done a lot in terms of Medicare, but there are still millions of Americans, particularly the older citizens, who are not insured, and they have to pay a lot for things as simple as diabetics. So we just have to see how this all plays out.
Well, since Donald Trump seems to be, gathering all the support, and despite everything that he's been saying, because he, as you said, he does seem to be speaking for the common man. You think there's something that the other candidates could learn from him, on his strategy of running this race?
No, it will not. You don't get up on one morning and become who you are not. What you are seeing is classical Donald Trump, except for the first time on a larger stage. The guy likes himself, he boasts a lot, he believes he's the greatest businessman, and if you go to New York, Chicago, California, you see all his buildings. It's, his name, Donald Trump Towers, Donald Trump this, his planes, Donald Trump, everything has always been about Donald Trump. So, and then being a television star and a media person, he's effectively used this to advantage. So if you're a classical politician like Rubio or Ted Cruz, it's difficult for you to suddenly become like Trump. In any case, if you're not used to insulting people, as they say, where I grew up in Ibadan, that is somebody who insults person all the time. It's acceptable in Ibadan because, they kind of give out this insult in a very playful manner. But you can't overnight just say, look, I'm going to be like Donald Trump. No, it won't work for you. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And he seems to have sucked out the energy from everyone. Look, I don't know whether you've looked at the figures. Everybody has spent millions in terms of publicity. Donald Trump have not.
Interestingly so. Yes.
He has not.
Interestingly so, he hasn't really. It does seem like all the publicity just seems to be coming for free because, the media is running after him to hear what he has to say.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make, because he's a media person. Has always been a television, so he knows really how to work on the media. So when he pulled out of that last debate, for example, and said, listen, I'm going to do something else, for the next couple of days, no media in the U.S. was talking about other candidates. It was what Donald Trump was going to do.
And the fact that he was absent from that debate.
Precisely. Precisely.
Okay, well, here in this part of the world, I know that when President Barack Obama was running for office, there was a lot of enthusiasm here in Africa. People excited that, America could elect its first African-American president. This particular race, we're not seeing that much enthusiasm in this part of the world. Is it because there's no African-American president? Is it because we're all, a bit skeptical about what sort of president Donald Trump will make?
No, I think number one, we've learned our lessons, after the euphoria and the emotions, which was right. I mean, look, to be candid, I never knew that in my lifetime I would see a president, and I mean a black man in the White House. I thought it wouldn't happen in my lifetime. And so for all of us in this country and everywhere else where you have black people, it was enough to make us, lose our senses and our, out of joy. It was something, but here you have candidates that have, maybe with the exception of Hillary Clinton, who actually know a little about Africa. I've always made the point to everybody, the U.S. politicians know more about America and Europe and Asia and care less about Africa. And if you look at the candidates running today, nobody has any idea of Africa except Hillary Clinton. With respect to this country, I don't even think that under her presidency, quote and unquote, it's something we have to be happy about. You just have to look at all the statements she's made about Nigeria in the past and begin to see that, look, it's not going to be easy. As for Donald Trump, I'm not even sure he's going to focus on Africa.
Well, very quickly, what sort of president do you think that the rest of Africa should be looking forward to America having, to build that relationship between the U.S. and the rest of the world?
Look, for obvious reasons that we know too well, more security, more economic, America will want to maintain a relationship, quote and unquote, a relationship with Africa, But for the sort of president that would focus on Africa, I think what we need to know is that in the past, every American president have just done what Ethiopians call teenage, a little for Africa. What's his name? Clinton did the AGUA. George Bush did on AIDS. Obama something on power. So look out that the next president will just, okay, look, if you guys and the African experts are bothering my life, what do we do for Africa? Again, they do little thing, something for Africa, and that's the end of it, true.
We've come to the end of the program, but not the end of the conversation. We've discussed the new African Union force being deployed to Burundi, the near collapse of the ceasefire deal in Syria, and Super Tuesday in the United States. We've also talked about President Muhammadu Buhari's visits to Riyadh and Mecca. Take your pick and let's hear your thoughts at Diplomatic Chan or at CTV_Amara_Ubani. That's Diplomatic Channel this week. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. See you next time.